Alright, so in today's video, we're actually gonna go ahead and learn how to make a cool poster design like this one right here. Do keep in mind that I am not going to be showing the step-by-step tutorial on how to create the actual device in 3D, which I created it in Blender. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you guys with the assets of the actual COS device in the link in the description down below. There's going to be a link. You'll be able to download them for free. Any asset that we're going to need for this tutorial, we're going to be using Photoshop to create this from scratch. Pretty much, like I said, I am not going to be doing the actual modeling process because that'll take forever. But if you guys are interested in that, let me know down below, and I might consider to do that in the near future. Now, also, if you guys are actually interested in the project file for this right here, it'll be over on my Patreon, so the link for that as well will be down on the description down below. But that being said, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so here in Photoshop, as you can see, I already have pretty much the actual device on. I added everything, all the assets that we're going to be needing. That way we don't have to waste time on that. We're going to need these loops. So as you can see over here, I got the project file. So it's literally just my logo, some fonts, typography right here. We have the main device. We have 3 loops, which I actually provided you with one already. We're just going to duplicate that and make it smaller. There is the 4 different colorways. And again, this is just regular typography. And for the image textures, you'll also, I don't have those. I'm not going to be providing you with those. But if you're interested on some image textures, just make sure you go over and text image textures in either Envato Element, Google. Just make sure if you get them from Google that they are actually free to use, that you have some sort of license, or make sure that you're not using it for commercial use if you don't have the license for that. So, but that being said, let's do it. All right, so here in Photoshop, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and align this, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and use a different file size. So by the way, just file new, and I'm doing 8.5 by 11. So I'm gonna align this somewhere right here. We're gonna go ahead and bring this down like so, make it smaller. You know what, we're actually gonna go ahead and make them all smaller, that way we keep them proportional. So we drag them down like so, and now we're gonna move them to the side. So usually what I like to do, or the whole vibe style that I'm going for, is RGB, so red, green, blue. So we're gonna go ahead and do red right here. We're gonna bring over the blue over here, green somewhere here, and as you can see, I have the same exact spacing in between all of them. And we'll bring this one right here, and just using this for reference. By the way, this is quick because it's a design that I already have. It's already put there, like it's something that I've done. But to actually come up with this, or for you to come up with your own design, it might take you a little longer. So don't stress it. Just find some nice references on Pinterest, and find something that you like, and then just kind of find a way to pretty much just make it your own. So yeah, this is more for people who want to kind of learn my little things that I do for the shading, the layout, the blending options, and all that stuff. But anyway, so looking back at my image, this one might actually come out a bit better, since it's again, sometimes when you do things like more than once, or like you keep redoing it, for some reason you make them better. Not always the case, but most of the time. So let's just bring this up a bit like so. As you can see over here, we have some typography, but we're gonna leave that for last. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and make this white for now. Let's make it white so that we can see what we're working with. This one is gonna be, you know what, actually I'm gonna go ahead and make this smaller. Just follow along with me. We're gonna make this smaller. We're gonna go ahead and type in COS right here. We're gonna center this over here like so. Let's go to properties. We're gonna bring this back down to, we gotta enter on that. We're gonna bring this back down to 0. And for the font on this, it was a while back, so I'm gonna have to scroll down a bit.
2,000 years later.
Wow, it was the very last font. All right, so for the font, I'm actually using I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's Zuck Aco. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I got this from Envato Element. So if you want to subscribe to Envato Element, they're not sponsored, but I am subscribed to them. I use their assets on a daily basis, pretty much. But that's the font I'm using, or you could just find something similar to it. I believe I found this by searching something up around the line of pixel or pixelated font or something like that. So once you find this, what I did pretty much, I just made it so that it's the main font, the main focal font, and we'll bring it back a bit like so. And this right here will make it smaller. This is supposed to be like a sponsor, like the company logo. I like to leave some more spacing from the top, so somewhere around there should be cool. We're gonna go again, it's not gonna be identical, but we're trying to get something similar to it. And then we are also going to need the device text over here. So for that, I'll just print this right here. We're gonna go ahead and use the same font, but we're gonna change the style maybe to something like thin, and we're gonna make it smaller. I say right there should be pretty cool. Would love for it to be more right there. I think right there should work. All right, and so we're gonna also go ahead quickly and make this line on the side, which for that what we're gonna do is right, it's above, yeah, color options. All right, so we're gonna bring this, holding shift, and we're gonna bring the stroke up a bit. I say right there should be cool, and we're gonna write over here color options. I'm gonna go ahead and use Helvetica for it. Make it smaller and make sure that it's centered, and then we'll use this again. I say let's move this a bit more to the side like so. All right, and so we are pretty much almost done with our layout. We're also going to need the website cosmitart.com, and we're also, what font did I use for that? I used something along like Times New Roman, and I actually used lowercase for it, something like this. Make sure it's again centered. All right, and so this is pretty much our layout, right? We're also gonna make this, do a duplicate of this by holding Alt, make it smaller somewhere around here, and then duplicate that one more time and also make it smaller. So this one is the smallest one of them all. Somewhere around there should be cool. And so now what you would do is we have to find that sweet spot. So we have to make sure that this is somewhere around here, there, and last but not least, right there. I think this would be cool. All right, and then just make sure everything is centered. So I have pretty much the same layout. It actually probably gonna look a bit different, but again, I did this a while back, so I'm just pretty much redoing it. And I just want to show you now how I did this whole shading and making sure that this has lights and is reflecting within the device and the background and the textures and all that stuff. So really quickly, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the light source. So it'll be these loops right here. And I'm pretty sure what I did was I went ahead and added an inner glow to this. Make sure it's set to normal. Bring up the size. I'm pretty sure I went with a nice little green tone somewhere probably here, like so. And I also did an outer glow. I am almost 100% sure of that. Back to normal, and select a similar green as well. I would say maybe somewhere around there should be pretty cool. And we're gonna play with the sizing. I'd say the sizing should be somewhere around there. Go go back to inner glow. And again, I'm not going to stress it and try to make it look identical to the other one, because I probably won't end up doing it exactly the same. But I say somewhere around there should be cool. And for the outer glow, you probably want a bit more. I say maybe somewhere around there should be cool. Okay. And for the color overlay, you could also play with that if that's something you want to do. It would have to be a really light color, and it could be somewhere towards the green. So maybe somewhere around there should be cool. So you get that nice light effect, light tube, or whatever the case might be. And so now what you do is you go onto this one and you select the outer glow. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna delete these, and let's just duplicate it so we don't have to reapply the effects. And we'll click OK, and click bring it down and make it smaller as well. Let's say maybe around there should be cool. All right, so what we would do now is we will go ahead and make these. We're gonna make these one actually, and we're gonna erase whatever we don't need from here. So what we'll do is we'll take the eraser tool, and as you can see, we're gonna delete, but we're gonna bring the hardness up a bit somewhere. Let's do 75. Bring this smaller, so it's a bit smaller, like so. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and delete, which you could do this with the masking with the masking tool as well, which actually gives you more control. By the way, I'm doing this with a mouse, which is a bit more difficult. So if you have a drawing tablet, a digital drawing tablet, that might be a bit easier for you. But yeah, so I'm just gonna pretty much go ahead and delete this right here. Let's go back. Let me start with here first. Okay, get rid of this, get rid of this. All right, now we're gonna get rid of this one. Okay, there's something here that I don't want it to happen, so we're gonna keep them individually actually. Click OK, and let's just make sure it's actually working. So we don't need to get rid of that one. This one we actually do. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and erase around there and somewhere around here. Boom. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing with the top one. All right, so we'll delete right there. We could get rid of all this, and we'll delete this as well somewhere around there. It's pretty cool that there's a bit of an outline there, but as you can see, now I have these 3 loops pretty much going around my COS device. I think it brings a lot of attention to it. And so now what we would have to do is, you could either leave it like this. I actually like how clean this looks, but I want the device to have some reflections from the light, because that's how it would actually be in real life if that was the case. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a layer on top of the COS device. We're gonna create a quick layer. We're gonna all click on it so that it does a clipping mask on top of our COS device. And so now what that would do is, if we were to select a brush tool, as you can see, it draws only, well, let me just change the color so you can actually see that better. But if we were to pick somewhere around here, so you can see it only draws, like, it only allows you to paint within the device. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this brush a whole lot smaller. Say somewhere around there should be cool. And so now we gotta somehow add like a outer glow, like on the edges where the COS device, where it should be kind of getting reflection from. So we're gonna go around the edge, around all this spot right here, and we're gonna add this nice little ring light around the device, because that's how it'll pretty much be if this light were to actually be around it. So as you can see, just gonna, it's not much, it's just a ring light around the whole device. And then we're gonna be playing layer by layer. So we're gonna add some here. It has some here as well, but you're not gonna be able to see it because it's already, it already pretty much has a good highlight. Boom. All right, I think another thing that I didn't do before, but I want to actually give this a try, is if we select our device right here, we go to adjustments. Make sure you go to see these right here. I want to go to color balance, and I want to see if I change this a bit towards that green, because it's supposed to be reflecting a bit of, like, green should be bouncing off of it. Make it a bit yellowish. Say somewhere around there should be pretty cool. I think it's only right because if there's green light around something, like if I were to put a green light around this cup right here, it'll most likely look more towards like green than actually white. So I think this is pretty cool. All right, so now that we have that, we're gonna go ahead and add another layer, clip mask it as well. And so this one, we're gonna go ahead and make it a bit bigger for the brush size. We're gonna make it a bit bigger. Somewhere around there should be cool. We're gonna select the green, and we're gonna make sure we change this from normal to color Dutch add. And what that'll do is it'll add this nice little glow effect to it around the edges. So now we're just gonna add this around the device a bit more, and it has to be stronger where it has to be stronger. So I know right here it has to pretty much bounce a lot. So I'm gonna get aggressive over here a bit, like so, over here as well. All right, now another thing I want to highlight over here would be these buttons right here. There should be on, they should have a light. So let's see if this would work. So we're gonna add another layer. We don't have to clip mask this one. We're gonna stay with this green right here, bring it small, and we're pretty much just gonna go ahead and make this brush a bit more flat, so we get that nice similar shape. Make it a bit bigger maybe, and we're gonna tab once right there. And now we're gonna make this red, and we're gonna tap right here. And you can also go ahead and play with the blending mode on this and see if we find something that looks better. And I think that color dodge also looks pretty cool on it. And as you can see, it's bringing our design a bit more to life. Another thing you could do that I haven't done, that I know I did for sure before, is go to filter. Make sure you have convert this into a smart object. We're gonna go to filter. We're gonna go to camera raw filter, and here I like to bring the exposure up a bit more, the contrast a bit more as well. I want to go ahead and bring up the texture, the clarity as well, somewhere around, not the enhance, the clarity, let's say somewhere around there, and click OK. So you can see it looks a whole lot different. It has more of a contrast to it, and more texture. It looks more sharper, and I think that's pretty cool. All right, so another thing we did for sure over here was I added a gradient and an outline to the main typography. So what you would do for that is double click on this. You can either double click or right click and go to blending options, which this would be right somewhere there. And now we're gonna add a gradient overlay. We're gonna set this to, we're gonna delete all these actually. Okay, somewhere on there should be cool. Let's make this a nice greenish yellow color, and let's make this one more of a darker green. So I would say maybe somewhere around there should be cool. Let's bring this to the centered, and let's make this a bit more on the yellow side. Right there should be cool. All right, and so now we'll bring this to 90. And as you can see, we have this nice little cool gradient. We'll do the same thing with the stroke, make it thinner. I think that would work. And you could also make this a gradient if that's something you would want to do. And we can make this the same thing. We'll do like a nice little yellowish green, and this one more towards that nice little lime green. And so what you could do is, so that you can notice it is, instead of it being at 90, you could do a -90, and now you get the opposite. And you can play with the scale if that's something you would want to do. but I think right there should be pretty cool. I don't think you need more than that. And another thing I would want to do is I would want to create a layer on top of this, clip mask to it as well. And since the COS device, it's kind of like laid on top of this text, just to give it a bit more realism, is let's go and select our brush tool, bring the scale up a bit, bring this back to being a full circle. Say somewhere around there should be cool. That's right there, that'll work. Make this black, and we can't see anything. We gotta go ahead and make this into a convert to smart object. And now if we click on this layer, we should be able to have more control of it. I'd say let's make it smaller, and that was too much. Yeah, no, let's do 750. I think 750 might work. Just a bit, not too much. And I think that adds more realism to it. I think I want to make this smaller and this a bit smaller as well. And so another thing I did was I went and on top of the background I added a layer. I took the brush tool once more and make this let's say 3000 pixels, and we're gonna go ahead and select this nice little cool green right here. We're gonna zoom out, and as you can see, I added this nice little cool light down here. As you can see, the colors on this one look a bit more vivid than on this one. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and add a nice little cool light source down here as well, and we're gonna lower the opacity a bit so it's not that strong. And another thing that you could do is, if you want to make these pop out a bit more, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to filter, camera filter, and pretty much do the same thing. We're gonna bring the exposure up a bit, nothing crazy. Contrast, bring it all the way up. Texture all the way up, and the clarity a bit up as well. And as you can see the difference. So go back to camera raw filter actually, and we're gonna go ahead quickly and we're gonna copy the edit settings. So now what we would do is we'll select our other ones, and we could go ahead quickly and paste the edit settings. That way we don't have to do manually, or you could just simply select them all. So let's just select these two, the remaining two, and if we go to filter, camera filter, and we paste the edit settings, it'll actually just add it to it. So as you can see, we have these three right here, and we're gonna go ahead and add a quick outer glow to it, which is what I also did before. So outer glow, we're gonna make this white, and we'll bring down the size up a bit. I'd say bring it down somewhere around there should be cool. You can also play with the opacity of it, so it's a bit of it, but it's not too much, and I think this is cool. And so it gives you like a nice little cool retro vibe to the whole poster. And I know for sure that's what I was going for. And I just like the fact that this one looks a bit more vivid. But as you can see, all the elements are there. Color options is there. For this, I know what I used actually. Now that I'm looking at it, it's pretty much Hansen. Make this smaller, and let's bring it down a bit, somewhere around there. All right. So the last thing that we would have to do to actually finalize this is to add an image texture or a texture overlay. And for that, you could use something like this, for example. Tilt it, make it bigger, cover the whole screen, and you want to play with the blending mode. So let's say you could use screen. Say this looks pretty cool, and you could add one more on top of it. And for that one more, I'll probably do, let's say we were to do something like this, like a nice little paper, so it looks like a poster. And we go ahead and also play with the blending option of it. So maybe something like this, and maybe bring the opacity down. How would that look? Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not really feeling the vibe. But again, you just play with image textures and find something that you like, so it has more of a vibe to it. It's just something that you would just normally do to make the poster look more realistic, more you know, with more character to it. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, my camera's actually about to die. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to drop a like down below. Comment what you want to see next. Again, the project files will be down in the description down below. Make sure to check that out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.